Oh, I'm
Wow.
glad these didn't disappoint me.
I know. Well, the double oak sets the bar so high.
I know.
The fact that these are solid
Yeah.
is solid.
I actually really did like the rye oak quite a bit.
Well, you would.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And we are coming at you today with something a little bit different.
Yep.
Most of the stuff we do over here is completely blind because we like to bring you really unbiased opinions. With that said, we have done enough of these videos that we think we can be fairly unbiased, even though 13th Colony did send us these 2 bottles. Mm-hmm. We have tried the sample of the double oaked that they sent us, which was like 130 something proof. It was absolutely lights out.
So good.
Amazing. Want a bottle of that stuff. We'll be looking out because the next batch, the second batch, is coming out in the fall. These are a little bit more of their standard offerings. They're not distributed in every market, but they are here in Tennessee, in Nashville.
They're in Georgia.
They're from Georgia,
Yeah.
and this is their own distillate. They're not sourcing. And honestly, we hope these are very good.
Yeah.
Or like enjoyable for what they are. They're both 90 proof or 95 proof. Southern bourbon, Southern rye. We hope they come across really well because it's really cool to see new distilleries doing things with their own distillate, not sourcing, and making good product.
I will say, because I had such a good experience with their double oaked product, the bar set kind of high.
We got to bring the bar way down.
The bar is set kind of high for these guys.
No.
Why can't every product be across the board good?
Every product can't be that special. But for 95 proof products...
That's true, 95 proof. I do have to remember that.
If you can't get these in your market, because they're not distributed in a lot of markets right now, check your online retailers like Sealbox, Shared Pour, Keg and Bottle, Mash and Grape. There's a lot of places online that you can order product from. Keep a tab on them and see if they have these available for you. And if they don't, then keep an eye out in your local market for them. If they measure up, let's find out. I think both are 95 proof. I think both of these are about $35 in our market. So you're looking at a very comparable product to a lot of the stuff that's very beginner friendly out there. So
I'm kind of nervous now.
Let's get into the nose on Southern Bourbon.
It smells like bourbon.
It does smell like bourbon. It's quite fragrant. Like it's jumping out of the glass.
Yeah.
A little sharp, slightly sharp.
Yeah. Slightly sharp, but not so much where I'd be off-put by it.
Right. And what that is bringing with it is a really nice caramel sweetness.
Do we know an age on these?
We don't know ages. Okay. I looked at the bottles. All I saw was tasting notes.
Until
I
you,
immediately checked out.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that information. Yeah, I'm just getting like really nice bourbon sweetness, corn,
there's
caramel.
Maybe corn is what I'm getting. I was going to say there's something familiar in here that I can't quite pinpoint, but it might be corn. When you said that kind of
I'm almost getting like a candy corn. And I like candy corn. You don't.
I don't like candy corn, yeah.
Yeah, but it's so sugary and so good. Yeah, this smells really pleasant to me. Caramel, vanilla, oak, classic bourbon. It's kind of bright on the nose, but it has some depth to it as well. I'm ready to get this on the palate.
Okay, let's do it. It's very light and bright. It almost literally just stayed on the top of my mouth. Like I don't even think it touched my tongue. It's so like it defied.
It's levitating.
It defied gravity.
Yeah. It's really interesting because it's on the nose. I got light and bright.
Yeah.
But there was some depth under it too. And on the palate, I got the exact same thing. Light and bright, but there's a little bit of depth under it too, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just not used to that type of experience.
Let's try it again.
Let's go.
Okay.
It is very sweet. I'm getting a lot of sweetness off of it.
Yeah.
And the sweetness I'm getting is that corn sweetness. Like sometimes you can get fruity sweetness. Sometimes you get more of a caramel sweetness.
Yeah, it's
sometimes
a corn
you
sweetness.
Get more. It's like a corn sweetness in a really pleasant way. Like it is young and it does present a little bit of heat because of that, but it's not coming through super sharp.
It's like a child who is mature for their age. That makes sense.
Actually, you know what? That's an absolutely perfect analogy. This is why Erin is on the channel. Like, that's fantastic.
I mean, that's kind of what I equate it to. Like, it tastes young, but
Yep.
it seems good for how young it probably is.
Right. When you're going out and buying a $35 bottle,
Yeah.
you're not expecting a ton of age. Something like Elijah Craig's small batch is going to give you more age and a more rounded profile than this. Buffalo Trace is going to give you a little bit more of a fruit forward flavor profile than this. But this is bringing forward the corn in a way that is not youthful in an off-putting way.
It's pleasant.
It's presenting well.
Yeah, it presents itself well.
I think for the $35-ish price point, it's absolutely worth checking out. At least to try and see if you like it compared to some of the other products on the market.
To be honest, if you try it and you don't like it, I think it would be a great thing to keep for mixing. And then you will have gotten your money's worth out of it.
And you're not wasting it at all.
Right, correct. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the rye and see what we think about it.
This is the one I'm excited about, which makes me more nervous.
Because you're a rye guy?
Yeah, I'm a rye guy.
Let's get into the nose.
It smells good.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is really interesting. I had no clue what to expect going into this, but I have had a fair few craft ryes, and this smells like a craft rye.
But not super crafty.
It's bridging the gap between some of the legacy distilleries in rye, too, because it's not super barnyardy. It doesn't have that going on with it.
So, as someone who really likes ryes, I don't love super crafty, barnyardy ryes. That's not my style, but this is, I agree, it tastes, or it smells like a craft rye, but it's bridging the gap. It's not barnyardy. It's like a happy medium between a legacy distillery rye and a craft rye on the nose. We'll see what it tastes like.
No dill, no fennel, no weird, like, off-putting stuff that you get in rye sometimes. It doesn't have that super grassiness to it.
I'm getting a little bit of pine.
I can see pine. I could see a little bit of spearmint, chocolate. I'm getting those type of notes from it. And that's typically the ryes I tend to like more than the dilly type of ryes. I'm not a big dill rye guy. Or black licorice. I'm out the door.
All of those things. And a lot of ryes. The characteristic traits of rye I like: dill, black licorice, tea, pine, spearmint, all that earthiness, grassiness. Love it.
I could get a little black tea and barrel char on this too.
Can we taste it?
Let's get it.
All right. Okay. I'm here for this.
Yeah.
This is pleasant. It definitely tastes 95 proof. However, it's very pleasant. This would be something I would want to drink on a summer day.
You're just in love immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
I prefer it over the bourbon. I'm going to say that straight up.
I do think I'll need another sip, but in my initial readings are, as a bourbon guy, I do prefer the bourbon over the rye.
That checks out.
Let's get in for another sip, though.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. I think this is a craft rye that is closer to the flavor profile of more of a legacy distillery. But you still get some of that craftiness. There's just a little, like, something extra that it's not just a major distillery.
Yes. And I think that's a perfect point, because that's what came around to me. This tastes like craft whiskey, but in the best way possible. It's the best presentation of craft whiskey that I honestly think I can recall.
I would agree at this point in time, yeah.
We've had some really weird craft whiskeys.
Yes, we have.
But 13th Colony is doing really good stuff.
Oh.
I mean...
Oh, hold up. The finish is building, y'all.
Yeah?
So it's 95 proof, but on the second sip, it lingered a little bit more.
I don't mind the rye, to be honest with you. I just prefer the bourbon flavor profile, personally speaking. I like that sweetness, the corn sweetness that I'm getting off of the bourbon compared to the rye. The rye is more just chocolate, maybe like a subdued mint.
I like the rye.
It's like the mint without the bright effervescence of the mint.
It's the mint without the, like...
cooling sensation.
When you want to blow in a mirror and see your breath,
Right. It's not that type of mint, but there is a little bit of that flavor in there. A little bit of pine, a little bit of just
I like the
woodiness.
rye.
You do? Mm-hmm. Okay. $35. Are you a buy on this?
I am a buy on the rye, but I'm probably not a buy on the bourbon, to be honest.
Well, I'm a buy on the bourbon, and I'm probably a pass on the rye. Although I would absolutely order this in a bar if I saw it, just to try it, because it's really interesting to try. So, very interesting stuff. we interrupt your regularly scheduled program to let you know that we got a bottle of the 13th Colony Double Oak. So very excited to be able to have this. Very excited to be able to include this in this review of their other products, because while their other products are very good for a 95 proof product, this is certainly more in our wheelhouse.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and get into the nose and see what we're working with here.
Let's do it. What's the proof on this?
135.3.
It comes through
it
on
is
the
up
nose.
there. Yeah.
It kind of smells like coffee-ish.
Yeah, I get like rickhouse wood, coffee, fudginess, syrupiness. I mean, you can just look at the color and like it is dark, 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 dark.
It definitely smells powerful. I forgot how powerful this
Yeah, it's a beast of a bourbon. Let's get it on the palate.
Wow. It is powerful. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's good. I need a second first sip. That was my warm-up sip. Now I need a real first sip.
Okay. I will not complain. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, it comes through on the palate like it comes through on the nose. Powerful, strong, kind of a coffee note. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's not coffee, but there's something about it that reminds me of coffee.
No, it does to me 100%.
Yeah.
I'm a huge black coffee fan. We drink black coffee every morning. There's a lot of that type of note in here, like espresso bean type of note.
Yeah, I almost want to say I'd go more dark chocolate than coffee.
Yeah, it's got that too.
Yeah.
It's got that super thick, syrupy mouthfeel. This is upper echelon bourbon, to be honest with you. And the fact that it's coming out of a craft distillery in Georgia is downright remarkable.
Yeah.
This bottle sold out very fast, and it was only a Georgia distribution. They're coming back this fall in late September, they said, with another batch of this that should be a bigger batch. The distillery has told us that they think it's a better batch than this one, which is insane to think.
This
that
is pretty good.
This
I
could
like
be
this
better,
one a lot.
but this is so good. If you like dark, rich, syrupy coffee, dark chocolate, fudgy type of notes.
And it is sweet. I do want to note that because that's something I'm sensitive to. But because there's so much flavor as far as kind of the proof, essentially, the proof kind of helps balance out the sweetness, so it's not sickeningly sweet, as I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. This is awesome stuff. Be on the lookout for this late fall or whatever late September is. I don't know if that's fall.
That's
is that
early fall?
Oh, okay. Well, early fall then. Be on the lookout for this if you like those types of stuff. If you're a person who likes really fruity bourbons, really light bourbons, really smooth bourbons and things like that, this is probably not going to be your cup of tea, but for 135 proof, it does drink very balanced. I have to give them that.
For how high proof it is, it's powerful, but it's balanced.
Yes, this is wonderfully crafted. So if you like those dark, rich, fudgy, chocolatey, coffee type of notes, absolutely keep your eyes peeled for a bottle of this. Come in this fall. Make sure you check their website to see where they're distributing, because it's going out to more states than just Georgia this time. And you can bet your bottom dollar that we are going to be looking for 1 or 2 or maybe 3 bottles of it ourselves. If you see the double oaked, if you like high proof, if you like concentrated flavors, don't even skip a beat. Just buy the double oak.
Correct. 13th Colony Double Oaked all day.
Yes.
Every day.
But if you're newer in your whiskey journey and you want something that falls in that 90-ish proof point, 95 proof, and you want to try something that is flavorful, that is a little bit off the beaten path, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these products, to be honest with you. I agree. If you're more of a rye person, just buy the rye. If you're more of a bourbon person, just buy the bourbon.
Although, if you are more of a bourbon person, if you want to get the bourbon, it's a slightly different profile than your typical distillery bourbon. It's a little more corn.
Kentucky bourbon.
Kentucky bourbon, yeah.
Man, going back to the bourbon now after trying the rye, it's so sweet and so good. Yeah. I'm in on this bourbon.
Okay.
I'm in on it. So check 13th Colony out if you want. We think they're doing some good things. And we're all about trying to promote any company that is doing their own stuff rather than sourcing. We love source bourbon too. Don't get us wrong. Source bourbon and rye, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Yep. But when a company can come out with some quality product under their own label with their own distillate, that is worth paying attention to. Yeah. So we're happy to be able to do this video. 13th Colony did send us these, but we didn't even have to make a video about it.
No.
We just did it because we wanted to, because we thought what they're doing is cool, and the double oaked is so exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, it is literally upper echelon, out of this world, lights out.
We've
bourbon.
had it in many blinds within our Patreon community. It
It's
has done very well in blind tastings within our Patreon community time and time again.
Right. It's an absolute monster, but to know that they're shelf products if you're looking at that $35, 90-ish proof point, they can hold up.
I'm happy to know that because I was nervous because the bar was set pretty high with the double oak.
Yeah, absolutely. If you enjoyed this video, like it. And if you like this style of content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell while you're down there if you want to be notified when we're going live. We do them once a month. We would love for you to join us for a pour.
Absolutely. That's it for today. Be good to each other. And until next time,
Cheers.